So for my film critic assignment, I chose to do the Netflix movie called To the Bone. In this movie, the main character shown in this picture, her name originally is Ellen. About halfway through the movie, she decides to change her name to Eli, but she suffers with the mental illness of anorexia with severe somatic symptoms of anxiety and depression. So for her course of treatment, they chose multiple different kinds of therapy and inpatient care, along with antidepressants. Um, in the movie, they show her at group therapy and one-on-one therapy with her counselor multiple times, and then she only has family therapy one time, and then they decide that it's not working for her because it was kind of a dramatic experience, and everyone just ended up fighting, and it made her anxiety worse. So she is kind of a defiant person. She likes to make jokes to kind of hide her pain, and she's definitely in denial about her diagnosis until the end of the movie, whenever she comes to terms with it. So some of the symptoms of anorexia are obsession with calories, not eating, no food for extended periods of time, extreme weight loss. A lot of people have an obsession with burning calories and working out a lot. And a lot of people, if it gets severe enough, in women, your menstrual cycle will stop. And then in Eli's case, she had more hair start to grow on her arms because her body was trying to keep itself warm. So you can see in this picture here, she is drinking a huge cup of diet soda, and that's what she had for her entire day. That was the only meal that she had. In the movie, her stepmother comments on it and says, "That's not breakfast," and she kind of laughs it off and makes a joke out of it. So she does suffer with a lot of these symptoms. She struggles with not eating, obviously, and by the end of the movie, her weight loss has gotten to the point where she's actually started passing out from not eating. She's lost so much weight that she's down to about 90 pounds. And then she's also flushing her antidepressants. She smokes to help calm her nerves, and then she's got severe insomnia. She feels guilty about everybody else's problems except for her own, and she has really anxious habits. Some of these anxious habits I want to talk about. She chews on her fingers a lot, which is common with people that are really anxious, and she also measures her upper arm with her fingers. So in the movie, it shows this multiple times. She'll take her finger and make a circle with her thumb and her middle finger and try to make sure that that stays the same amount of smallness to make sure that she's not gaining any weight. And she does this multiple times a day, all the time, trying to make sure that she's staying thin. Another thing, I know that this is common with people with mental illnesses. She gets angry and lashes out. She's really, really defensive to everyone that's trying to help her, and trying to make excuses as to why she is the way she is. So she gets really mad at them when they tell her that she has a problem. So I'd like to talk about her therapy. So in her therapy, she says that she is not a person anymore. She's a problem, and she starts apologizing to the people in the room. Her mother is there, her stepmother is there, and her sister is there, and she kind of just tells them that it's her fault that she is the way she is. And I don't think that's really fair. I think that's common with people that have mental illnesses, that they don't think that they can do anything about it, that it's their fault and everybody else is miserable because of them, and they blame themselves for a lot of things. And that's one reason why they don't get better. It's because they think that they're the problem. If they're the problem, how can they fix themselves? So in this slide, she's saying that she doesn't even know why, she just can't. And in this scene in the movie, it's kind of powerful. She talks about how there's a voice in her head telling her that she just can't get better every single time that she feels like she can. And then her therapist and the other people that are in the inpatient therapy with her kind of tell her to just blow the voice off. And that it's just kind of powerful because it shows how hopeless you can feel in this situation, how hopeless and alone that she feels until she has people around her supporting her. And I think that that's really awesome to see that they portrayed that in the movie, that that feeling of hopelessness is there, and being anorexic, it's not a choice. It's not about being thin, and one of her therapists actually says that it's not about being thin, it's about being in control. Um, what she really craves is the numbing of what she doesn't want to feel. And I thought that that was just really powerful to show that this hopelessness is real and it's not a choice to be anorexic. So a lot of people think that the main cause of anorexia is society kind of pushing you to be thin. And she says, if I want to be thin, don't they say that that's better? And a lot of people think that the pressure of social media and our society right now is why people want to be anorexic, or why that they think that it's better. And not that that's not true, but in her case, I don't think that that's why. I think some of the causes was her family. So it says multiple times in the movie that her mother had really bad issues with anxiety and depression, and she had like mental breakdowns at some point. And it also says that she had serious postpartum depression and kind of didn't pay attention to Eli when she was a baby. And then that kind of comes back up at the end of the movie and kind of helps her work through her anorexia. Um, some of the other things is her dad is not present in her life. He is there, but he kind of just acts like she doesn't exist, and he just wants her to change who she is, and he doesn't want her to be the artist that she is and everything. So her parents are estranged, they're divorced, and both of them remarried, and she kind of feels guilty for that in a way. She feels like it might be her fault because of her illness. Um, and then there's a couple other things that I think are the main causes of her anorexia, and that is that she was sexually assaulted at a young age, and that because she's an artist, she was taught to draw what she was feeling, and she drew an anorexic girl, and then she posted it on her Tumblr, and another girl and one of her like fans, I guess, killed herself and wrote her suicide note to Eli and sent it to her. And then that girl's parents actually took pictures of the girl that had committed suicide and sent them to Eli. And that after that incident, her anorexia got worse and worse and worse, and she just didn't get better. So on this slide, I'd like to talk about the movie itself and whether it's actually there's a lot of positive and negative sides to it, and this is definitely a negative that I'm showing here. So after this movie came out, a lot of people that have actually been victims of the mental illness that is anorexia thought that it was kind of an inspiration, that they would use this as a thinspo to help them reach their goals and be anorexic. And they watch this movie to fulfill those goals and try to stay thin. I think that it could have a lot of trigger warnings for people that have had anorexia, and that if they can't handle that, they need to either watch it with someone they can trust or just not watch the movie at all. But I do think that this movie accurately portrays anorexia. It's very violent, or it's like very, I'm trying to think of the word. It's harsh is what it is. It's so shocking to see how hard and how difficult this mental illness can be, because a lot of people don't know. And I think that people that are learning about psychological disorders and studying anorexia, that this would be a really good film. I would completely recommend this film to them. So that is the movie. It's called To the Bone. I 100% recommend it, and its take on anorexia with the extra symptoms involved. I think that it is a awesome movie, and I hope you watch it.